Hello, this is How's Your Mental Health with Melina and Beth. I am Melina, and that is.
Beth.
So, we're getting ready to deal with all these technical difficulties. We figured out it might just be my computer. So, we'll get that taken care of and hopefully get everything straightened out for y'all. Beth, how was your week this week?
Well, it was pretty good. A little bit stressful. I had a lot of work to do and some difficult situations to deal with some folks, but we got her done.
Good, always.
Yep.
Always. I had a rough night. I was awake until 12:30, and fell asleep. Was awake at 2:30. Was up till 6:30, and slept till 9:30. And I've been up since. So,
What fun.
oh
What
yeah,
fun.
it was just one of those nights. We all have them.
No doubt.
But this week we are going to be talking about something that may trigger some of you. So please, 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 I can't stress enough, take care of yourself. Number one, I want to say we're not mental health professionals. If at any time you do feel triggered, you need to talk to somebody, please call your mental health advocacy in your area. There's suicide prevention hotline, and you can always call 911. Um, so please just take care of yourself, okay? Because anxiety can be a very, very triggering subject for some people. So, and that's pretty much what we're talking about is anxiety, how
Mm-hmm.
it can affect us. For me, ways I deal with it, um, and just if Beth wants to share how she deals with anxiety, she's more than welcome to. And again, we got the comments fixed on YouTube, so you can leave comments. And there is the email at the bottom of the whatever you call it screen scrolling by. So please, 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 please contact me if you want us to talk about a topic, if you want to tell me how you deal with anxiety, or any of the other topics we have talked about so far. Beth, you have anything else to share?
Please be nice when you leave a comment. Because a bad comment could cause us anxiety or some other mental infraction thereof. Woo!
So I know I sent you some anxiety questions, provoking questions. Could you pull those up for us, please? And if you could read them, because you would be able to see them better than I can. So,
Okay. I need you to hit that share button.
oh yeah.
Okay, the first one would be, what would things look like if you were able to cope with your anxiety?
Well, for me, it depends on what anxiety you're talking about, because I have several different things that deals with anxiety. Because I deal a lot of social anxiety, crowds and noise, the sensory overstimulation, sensory overload. Now, for me, that is one of my bigger ones. How would it look like if I didn't have to deal with it? I'd be able to go anywhere without anyone.
Without me or Rocky.
Yeah.
Woohoo!
I mean, that in my own mind is mind blowing to be able to even think that I could do that, So, because I can go to some places here and there, but if I know there's going to be big crowds, I need either Beth, who is my biggest moral support, or Rocky, my emotional support dog. So, how about you, Beth?
My biggest is trying to get that where it might be a little bigger, but I think that's as big as I'm going to get it. Mine are mostly probably some work, like if I feel like I'm overloaded or overwhelmed with a problem that just can't get fixed, with me, with myself alone, or personally, if something is very overwhelming. Um, and it gets to a point where I I can't fix it. And of
Mm-hmm.
course, that's unfortunately, there's a lot of things that you just can't fix
Mm-hmm.
because it's out of your control. And that's the hardest thing for me to be able to grasp, is not being able to fix something. And then that will trigger a lot of anxious feelings.
You're a fixer person.
Yes.
Yeah, I
So,
can be, but I'm more like I like to make people happy type deal.
mhm. Okay, question number 2 is, what's the worst you've ever felt because of your anxiety?
The worst I'd ever felt would end up being in the hospital. My anxiety put me in the hospital because I felt like I was dying. I mean, you hear about all these people who have the panic attacks, who we think they're doing the heart attacks, and you think it's a bunch of bull, but it's not, because you really don't know what's going on with your body, especially that first time that it happens. You feel like your heart's coming out of your chest. You feel like you can't catch your breath. And I think that is the worst episodes I've ever had, is where I felt like I was gonna die.
It causes my blood pressure to go sky high because at my worst, when I'm having an anxiety attack, my blood pressure's been registered at like 190 over 100, 105.
Mm-hmm. And
And
that's
then,
dangerous.
and yeah, and then of course it can trigger a severe migraine headache. Um, so usually I end up in bed with meds and until I can get calmed down from it, and then of course relief of the migraine. Uh, what are your top 5 anxiety triggers?
Well, we already talked about, the one was the social anxiety. For me, another one is when something that had happened actually yesterday. I had a asthma attack, but it was my allergy induced asthma attack, and it was one of the worst kinds I've had so far. And that was very anxiety provoking, because even, goodness, 2 or 3 hours later, I was still not as bad, but I was still coughing, and my chest still hurt from the coughing. And I can only take my inhaler every 2 to 3 hours, so I knew I couldn't take it yet.
Hmm.
So that was, and I think I was shaking right up until I went to bed last night. So,
Oh man,
and I know that's not 5, that's only 2, but
that's all right. I can't think of. I guess the biggest trigger is if somebody's talking down to me in some way, shape, or form, and just berating me.
mm-hmm.
Then that's a huge trigger. Um, I can't think right off. It's been a while since I've had one, so which is I'm grateful of. Let me go on to the next question.
Yeah, go ahead. Let me stop you there. If you have answers yourself, please, again, I can't stress enough how much I want this to be a, like a, I don't want to say maybe a three-way talking, where it's me, you, and Beth talking. But please comment below.
Well, at some point we're gonna shoot the show live on the YouTube rather than just posting it on YouTube after the
I
fact.
want to
So
get all the technology stuff taken care of first, though.
right, so that way we'll have more interaction. But yeah, for right now, just yeah, your comments, like, subscribe on YouTube, and then that way it help boost subscribers and help Melina be able to do a little bit more and to at some point be able to do the live shows. So the next question is, can you tell me about a time that you handled your anxiety in a healthy way?
Oh, I have a perfect example on that. When Beth took me to the theater for the first time, my first time. I mean, I had already said I have a social anxiety, and if any of you have ever gone to the theater, it is crowded and it is noisy. I mean, there was noise, there was crowds, it was a new thing, which also initiates anxiety in me. So I had three things all rolled in together. But
And you had to dress up.
yeah, well, I don't mind dressing up. I just have a problem about putting myself out there in public. But I had wanted to see the orchestra pit because I'd never seen one. But we were sitting just a little bit in from the doors, which meant I had to walk down. And Beth stayed in the seats. And I walked down and I was able to concentrate on my phone because I had to get the camera up and everything to go down. On the way back, I was telling this here to a friend of mine the other day. As long as I could see where Beth was sitting, I was good. I was able to breathe, relax. But if somebody got into my way, I could feel in my stomach all those butterflies chopping up. And I had to remember to breathe. And then she would, of course, come back into view. So, I mean, that's how I was very proud of myself for being able to accomplish that.
Way to
But
go.
yeah, that was something that that just happened last year. So
Let's skip. Well, I guess we better not skip them. How do your family members cope with their anxiety?
Beth, I'll let you take that one.
Okay, that's kind of a tough one for both of us because, but yeah, they've got their own way of doing that, and it's sometimes it's easy for us to read and easy to understand, but sometimes it's not because the anxiety can be.
Can come across in various ways.
It can. It can come at you in a negative fashion. It can come at you in a like a personal attack, even though it's not.
Mm-hmm.
But your perception, it's always your perception of how it's laid out. And 9 times out of 10, if you think about it, your perception is most of the time wrong. Because how you read somebody, yeah, you might be reading them right, but there's no way to know what's going on inside that person's head.
Right.
And to
And
know
that's one
what
of the things
they're projecting out.
Yeah, and that's one thing that you have to watch out for with like texting and stuff. You can't tell exactly what that person meant by that text.
Mm-mm.
So instead of getting upset over a text, call the person and talk to them.
Exactly.
Because words can be misleading.
And
So.
speaking of which, here's the next question. So, what do you need to hear from others when you're feeling anxious?
One thing I don't need to hear is that it's all in my head.
No, it says, what do you need to hear from others? Not what you don't need to hear.
What do I need to hear? Goodness, I honestly don't know that answer.
I would think you would need to hear some positive input, positive affirmation.
Like we did last week.
Yep. Positive affirmation, like we covered last week.
Like, I've been here before, I got through it, and I'll get through it again.
Exactly.
Yeah.
or my brother's most famous tagline, "You be all right." Shake it
I
off.
don't like that.
Shake it off. You be all right.
I don't like those two. That is always easier said than done.
How has your anxiety impacted your relationships with others?
Well, up until recently, my anxiety impacted to the fact that I would talk to anybody. You know, you can't have a relationship, friendship, or otherwise without talking to people.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I would not start a conversation. If they talked to me, then I would talk to them. But they would have to be the ones coming to me and initiating it. Now, sometimes I'll still fall into the old habit, but most
Mm-hmm.
of the time I can initiate a conversation, you know. But yeah, I think that is the main thing for me.
Okay. What happens to your body when you start to feel anxious?
Well, I already mentioned the butterflies in my stomach. That's like my first like inkling that something's going on, and then it'll go from there to where I can feel my breath like coming quicker.
Mm-hmm.
And physically, I'll actually, if I'm sitting down, I'll start to rock, you know. Um, and, um, but if I can catch it, that's as far as it usually goes.
Yeah, mine is the rapid heartbeat, either a hot or cold sweat, and of course, then the migraine. Um, what do you need others to do when you're anxious?
This is a question that I get asked by my mental health workers every few months or so when they have to fill out their forms that they got to do. And it's always the same for me. Just talk to me, you know. Um,
What if I
one
don't
of
want to
the
talk to you?
You've always got to talk to me. I told you, I'm like that bad penny that never goes away.
Sometimes I don't want to talk to you.
But Beth knows I love nature. And if I'm having a rough time, she'll actually get to where we'll go hike or just go drive or something and just get out into the nature.
Hmm. Yeah, that helps a lot.
Hmm.
That helps a lot.
And my
Or
painting and stuff, not
and
that I'm an artist because I'm not.
and sometimes even just going to the grocery store. Even though I used to hate going to the grocery store. I mean, that's when I started using the Walmart.com because I just hated going. But I mean, it's enjoyable because you got a fan club at the grocery store that you go to with you and Rocky. I mean,
No, I don't have the fan club. Rocky has the fan club.
you know everybody that works there now. So
Not everybody.
pretty much. So and that's how you have grown and matured. So is that you have people that you talk to in places that you go shopping now regularly, which
Yeah, I have mine.
you never used to do that.
Now I will go to the grocery store next to me by myself once in a while because I do know the people there.
Hmm.
Um, or at least some of them, you know.
But but before you'd never put yourself out to get to know
No,
those people.
I wouldn't. But Rocky is the cause of that. I
Hmm.
mean, Rocky is he's an emotional support dog, but he is a very social emotional support dog.
Yes, he
He
is.
he makes me be social.
Well, the next one is kind of I don't. It's not really a good question, I don't think, but it says, "Do you think you'll ever be able to cope with your anxiety?"
I don't think that's a good question either, because
I mean, it
it's
just
not something that you choose.
because I think on the most part, anybody that has anxiety, you do strive to cope, and
Yeah,
you do strive to take everything in and compartment.
compartmentalize.
Thank you. And put it where it needs to be, and then you go. But I don't know that you can actually say that.
I don't think when you have anxiety, I'm not sure it would ever totally 100% go away.
Mm-mm,
I think it can decrease, but I don't think it would ever
greatly.
go away.
Yeah.
Okay, again, we're not mental health professionals, so this is just our opinion.
And of course, then the next question is, how do you think your anxiety could impact you in the future?
I don't like those questions because I can't predict the future.
Mm. Let's go on to the next one then.
Yeah.
What are some things that your anxiety has kept you from doing?
Again, making friendships, making different um well, goodness. My anxiety with my writing has stopped me from trying to get anything published, you know,
Yeah.
because that fear of it not being as good as people think it is, or as good as I think it is. Because Beth and her mom and other people have read it, they all say it's good, but they're not publishers, so. And that's one thing that my anxiety stops me from doing.
Yeah, I know one time I was in my early 40s to mid 40s, I guess it was. And my cousin was having uh, it was either 50th or 60th birthday party. It might have been 60th, and I might have been in my early 50s. Anyway, um, I was having anxiety about being around my whole group of family, plus all those friends of theirs that they'd invited to the party, because I knew there was going to be like 100 people there. And I was just, I was overwhelmed and felt very insecure about myself at the time. And so I couldn't go. But anyway, so the next question: when is your anxiety at its worst?
At its worst. I think I've already talked about that.
Yeah.
That sounds like a repeated question.
No, I'm going down the list.
It just sounds like a question that was repeated on this little thing I found.
Okay. Well, what are some other feelings that you experience when you're anxious?
Inadequacy. That's a big one. That is a big one. Inadequacy.
What does your anxiety look like at home or in the neighborhood? It mentions school, but we're not in school. I guess
Well,
it could be
someone might
work.
be in college,
Yeah,
um, more in the work environment, like you are.
true.
Mine, I at home, I can't say I deal with it a whole lot, because I'm in my own little safe, what I call my own little safe haven type deal. You know, out in public, it really depends on the situation.
Yeah, and then the next question we've already covered too. What things make your anxiety worse? So we've
Yeah.
covered that, large crowds. What kind of thoughts go through your head when you're anxious? We've talked about that too. Do you have any other additional thoughts?
Um, Only that anxiety is not anything to be ashamed of. I don't care if you are somebody who scrubs toilets for a living or somebody who is a CEO in a bank. Sorry.
Rocky just had to get in the pit. Well, let me take this moment to say sweet tea from Zach.
Beth, gotta rein you in. But it doesn't all manifest the same in everybody, but we all have it, whether you want to admit it or not. Everybody has some type of anxiety over some situation.
This is true.
Beth, you want to go to the next slide?
Sure. I'm just going to read out the rest of the questions.
Okay.
Just in case folks can't see it on the screen either.
No, we can't, because I can't see it.
Because it's small. Are they positive, or the thoughts that you have that go through your head while you're anxious, are they mostly positive or negative? And of course, like we both discussed, they're mostly negative because I've never had positive thoughts when I'm anxious.
No, sometimes you get in that fight or flight mode.
Exactly. What ways have you tried to cope with your anxiety? And of course, we've talked about that. Either to go for a walk or just be quiet or do some type of exercise. And of course, it says what worked the best for you trying to cope with it, and then what didn't work at all. And then what are some of the coping skills you think might be helpful?
Now, I want to say sometimes with your coping skills for anxiety, what works one time won't work another time. You have to have a toolbox type deal of little things you can use, because it's just like with everything else. It's sometimes this here will help this day, but it won't help this day, and then you have to pull out another toolbox out of that tool, another tool out of that toolbox to see if that would help.
I'm going to try to put these both up side by side.
Okay. They kind of go hand in hand.
They really do.
I liked those. All of these 3 images I had found on Pinterest. So if you want to find them, all I typed in was anxiety, and you would be able to find them on Pinterest.
There we go. And you can see them both.
Yeah, if I use my bifocals. Not all of us can see like you.
Put on your glasses.
Now, feeling anxious. The one with the little girl with, well, they're both little girls, aren't
polka
they?
dots, or the purple top. Oh, they both got purple tops.
The one with the polka dot skirt or shorts, whichever it is.
Okay.
Okay. Beth, you're going to have to read that.
Are you thinking about a future event or worry?
And if you answer yes.
Are you having what if thoughts? Catastrophizing. Yeah. Or predicting the future.
Catastrophizing thoughts are such as, okay, I've got a paper cut on my finger. Oh, it's red. Oh, it's going to get infected. Oh, no. I'm going to have to go to the ER to get it drained because it's so infected. Oh, no. It's turning green. I'm going to lose my finger. I'm going to lose my whole hand. That is coming from a little tiny little thing that doesn't matter to something that's humongous. That's catastrophizing. And that happens usually within a matter of minutes.
And I go, spray peroxide on it. Spray peroxide on it.
And predicting the future, we all do that. I don't care who you are.
So if you go from yes to the next yes, then you need to write out your unhelpful thoughts and then challenge them.
I've done that. Oh my goodness, have I done that? I had a program that I used to go to. The program manager had me do this, when I was first moving out of an assisted living facility. Because I was like, am I going to be able to do this? Am I going to be able to do that? What if this happens? What if that happens? She's like, stop it right there. Write all this stuff down. Now you see all this. Now, what is the likelihood of all this happening? So, oh yeah, that's not easily done.
So then if we follow the no tree down, are you thinking about future events or worry? And you come to no, it goes, are you having physical anxiety symptoms? And you say yes. Then you got to stop, take a deep breath, practice mindfulness, drink some water, and go for a walk if you can. If you're not, they still want you to journey about your anxiety and ask yourself.
You mean journal?
I said journal.
You said journey.
I thought I said journaling. Like the journal about your anxiety and ask yourself what you need right now.
Under the yes for the thinking of future events, and then you go down to the other two. What is on the no side? Because you didn't go over that one.
This one right here.
No,
this one right here.
Yeah. Right there.
This one is okay. Yeah, I did.
No, you did the yes. You didn't did the no.
Okay. Are you having what if thoughts, catastrophizing, or predicting the future? And you said no. Problem solved. Your worry, select clear actions, then what is that word? Distract yourself? Yeah, I think it's distract. They kind of ran the I and the S together on that one.
Okay.
Yeah, right. Distract yourself.
Well, that's pretty cool. I like that.
All right.
Now, what's this other one?
The other one, anxiety may make you feel.
Yeah, these here the feelings of anxiety that other questionnaire had wanted us to talk about.
Disassociated.
Now, disassociated, don't get that confused, okay? Because there is a diagnosis, let it say that, as a dissociative identity disorder, which is slang for old-time multiple personality disorder. Now, disassociating is kind of like just stepping out of yourself for a little while. We all do it. The way it was explained to me at some point is, have you ever been driving to work and you remember being at point A, but somehow you got to point B without really remembering? That's because you went onto that autopilot type deal. Okay? That is dissociating. Okay.
Been there, done that, bought the t-shirt, and could have sworn I might even run over a squirrel.
So, I mean, it's not always a bad thing to do it. You just have to know that you're doing it.
Okay, that comes to the foggy and unable to think clearly brain too.
I have that. And I'm going to say it before she does. 99% of the time.
You said it.
That's when you kind of like, the way I always put it is, my brain don't want to work today. There's too many cobwebs in there.
Do you bite your fingernails too?
I used to. I used to be a bad nail biter.
Now we got this bad, tense and sore in your neck and shoulders. I carry all my stress. All my stress is right here in my shoulders.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Butterflies in your tummy.
Yeah, I talked about that.
A sense of anger and irritability.
I can get irritable.
Lord, yeah. Woo, woo.
What's that?
I was waiting to hear if you were gonna say, and don't say you don't.
Well, I was waiting for you to own up to it, fess up
Oh,
to it.
oh, that's what you're going for. No. All right, we'll go on this side now, and of course,
No,
there's
you didn't get down here right underneath the irritability.
Yeah, I did.
What's that?
Shaky and fidgety.
Okay. You didn't
Oh,
get
I
that.
didn't get to that, did I?
No.
Okay. And you get shaky and you get fidgety.
Oh, yeah.
I get very fidgety. I get up and get a toothpick and start cleaning little crevices in my stove or something.
I've never seen you do that.
I know. I've only done it a couple times.
Now, I'll do it just to clean.
Yeah, I do it when I get a little upset about something. Lightheadedness. You like to run or hide?
My thing is hiding. I used to, when my mental health wasn't as managed as it is now, I used to go into my room and just cover my head, and I would say, I don't exist today at all. And I guess you would kind of say that's hiding.
Yeah, I would say that is. That's hiding. Your heart races. Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
A lump or tightness in your throat. A dry retching.
A what?
It says dry retching. I guess a cough or something, maybe. I don't know.
I don't know.
Now I get itchy.
I'll get itchy myself.
If it said itchy, now I do. All of a sudden I feel like I got to scratch my arms or something.
Is it like a dry rash?
Yeah,
itchy rash.
That's what I'm. When I've had anxiety too, I can get itchy. And this is true. You need to go to the bathroom frequently.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Now, see, if you look at all these symptoms, and
out of touch with reality, tingling or numb, like you can't breathe normally.
Mm-hmm.
And all those are normal responses.
But if you look at those symptoms and you look at symptoms that would be for a heart attack, a lot of those are similar. That's why it is always confused for a heart attack.
That and acid reflux also.
Yes.
Because I know anxiety can help trigger acid reflux.
Oh yeah.
Which can also cause health problems as well. So you've got a whole mixture of things.
And that's why if you have mental health and you of course have your physical doctor, you need both of them knowing what each you're going through. Always rule out the medical and then you seek the mental. But make sure the mental know you're talking to the medical as well.
Okay. You may close the slides?
Yeah, close the slides, please.
Okay.
Well, I hope you all enjoyed this today. And this is my little guy who was trying to say hi earlier. See, he's my baby. He's wanting to play. But again, please keep yourself safe. Call your professional mental health people, the suicide prevention helpline, 911, whomever you need to call. Just make sure you stay safe, okay?
And like we said, drop a comment in, and Melina be looking for those to receive and answer them. She'll also be checking the emails, so send her a question.
I check at least once a day.
Yeah, so send her a question or a comment, or if you want to just have an email conversation back and forth, she'll be glad to do that. Whatever it takes so that you know that you're important because you
And
are.
that you're not alone. Because I know for a long time I felt like I was alone, and it's not a good feeling.
No.
So, yeah.
And I know one thing that has always been helpful with Melina as well as myself is I know that she's a very faithful, faith based person. And I do my best to be. Sometimes I got the potty mouth and everything else that goes along with my day and my work life. And I strive to do better at that. But
But I'm no angel.
no. And but we both have a very strong faith.
Hmm.
And I think that that is extremely helpful in one's mental recovery.
Yes, I
You
do
may
too.
some of you may disagree with me, but I think it's very strong and very healing and helpful to your mental
So,
health.
well, you want to say goodbye, Beth?
If you want to, we'll
I guess we are done. I hope you all enjoyed this video, and I look forward to seeing you next week. And I'll even tell you what we're talking about next week because I've already got it planned. Gratitude.
ooh.
We
Well,
talked about anxiety this week, so gratitude or being grateful for next week.
and
Hope to look forward to seeing you.
like I always like to say, be good to you.